This is Her Majesty Easy World Science Channel. This is the day 2 for the JAMB 2024 live chat on chemistry and biology. And I welcome you all to this second day of this wonderful live stream. Remember that I'm here for you and your questions on the live chat. Sorry for a little bit. We started this class a little bit slightly late, maybe due to technical issues, of course. And then here we set off. You come with your questions where necessary. From the live chat, we will handle it well.
Much love, remain majestic. This is me, the trees. Do you know the best channel for learning sciences and score very high in your exam? Yes, of course. That is the Majesty Easy World Science channel. Find us on YouTube and at www.easyworldsciencechannel.com.
Okay, all right. We will continue. Remember, as I wait for your live chat, I will handle some of the 40 questions we have started halfway here on this channel. There is a set of questions we handle sometime. If you are following us up, and you that is a great follower of this channel, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. So looking at the questions we have here, we only solved 11 out of the 40 questions and promised to continue with some of the questions in this free live stream. So we will start from question 12 here, because you watched that video 40 JAMB questions. So if you look at number 13, number 12, say a driver is suspected to have taken alcoholic drink while driving. To confirm this at checkpoint, the driver's breath should be tested by passing it through A, acidified K2Cl2O7, B, solution of iron 2 chloride and litmus solution, and then alcoholometer. So this question, you might be tempted to answer alcoholometer, but unfortunately it is not alcoholometer that you are supposed to choose in this case. Reason is because they are just asking you question based on the idea of that is what we call reducing agents and oxidizing agents. So you should be able to know that is a redox reaction, and then you only require an oxidizing agent to test for reducing agent. Alcohol is a primary, ethanol is the major alcohol present in the beverage, and therefore it is a primary alkanol, and therefore is a reducing agent. So you need an oxidizing agent to test the reducing ability of the so-called so you need actually an oxidizing agent. And looking at the options there, the only oxidizing agent present in the option there is option, that should be acidified K2Cl2O7. That is the only option that is having an oxidizing agent. What will happen? The alcohol we turn the acidified K2Cl2O7, it is orange, it will turn it automatically green. Okay, because we didn't start at the scheduled time, as people that are supposed to join us here, maybe we'll still have more time to see them all. Then number 13, so the answer to number 12 is option A, acidified K2Cl07. The breath from that driver will automatically be tested using acidified K2Cl2O7. Then number 13 says a chlorine bleach was indicated on the label 3.5% active chlorine. To confirm if this percentage is correct or not, what we want do in order to confirm if this chlorine is actually 3.5 as indicated on the label, the chlorine, you're going to carry out the other option is option if you're live and I see your question, I'll handle it immediately. Sorry for the little technical problem we had earlier. It wasn't a plan that I started a live stream as proposed, but unfortunately the audio wasn't working well, so I have to fix the technical problem to come back again. So as you join us anytime, remember to use the live chat and then ask your questions. So the number 13, as I wait for your question, how do you know that a chlorine that domestic bleaches they get are actually 3.5%? They say, are you going to carry out, you use screened methyl orange? No. Carry out iodimetry, carry out compleximetric titration, carry out criminal investigation. D is off. What you are going to do is to carry out iodimetry. Iodimetric titration is used to determine the percentage. In iodimetry, you displace the chlorine from that bleach, and then the chlorine will displace iodine, and the iodine is now titrated in against thiosulfate. When the thiosulfate, that's sodium thiosulfate, when you titrate it against the sodium thiosulfate, you can now determine invariably the amount of iodine, which tells you the amount of chlorine present. But compleximetric titration, that's option C, is used to determine the hardness of water. So number 14 said, which of the following is suitable for determining different? Remember, I am reading this, I'm handling these ones, waiting for your questions in the live chat. This is a live chat, but we are using this one like we promised earlier for the followers of this channel. I will handle this one, but your question, when immediately I see your question on the screen, I'll tackle that. Or probably I'm supposed to go back and tackle the questions we had in our previous, because there are many questions I did not attend to. Yesterday, we got many participants where we stopped and promised to continue today. But there is low turnout of viewers for this second one, maybe probably because of the technical issues we had. We apologize again. Now, I continue. Which of the following, that's question number 14, which of the following is suitable for determining different isotopes present in an element which exhibits isotopy? What you need to use is mass spectrometer. Mass spectrometer is the most suitable to use. That's what we use, mass spectrometer. Like the name, mass spectrometer, it is used to determine actually relative atomic mass, molar masses. That is the job, mass spectrometer, using mass spectrum. It produces different peaks. You have the molecular peak. In Nigeria, we don't usually do, but IGSC student, they are A level, sorry, you know how to interpret spectrum, and you know different activities. You'll be able to know that this is the different isotopes present. So number 15 says calculate the heat of formation of water if the heat of combustion of hydrogen is minus 285.83 kilojoule per mole. What is heat of formation first? Heat of formation is the heat evolved or absorbed when 1 mole of a substance is formed from its constituent element. So, and then what is heat of combustion? Heat of combustion is the heat evolved. Combustion is exothermic, of course. The heat evolved when 1 mole of a substance is completely burnt down in oxygen. So which means that for heat of combustion of hydrogen, we will have hydrogen plus oxygen, because heat of combustion is the heat evolved when 1 mole of a substance is completely burnt in oxygen. And when you burn this hydrogen down, it will give you water. And by looking at that, we need to put 2 here, and the equation is what? Balanced. This is the heat of combustion. The heat involved here is heat of combustion. But when we say heat of formation of water, how is water formed? Water is actually formed by the combination of hydrogen and oxygen. So if you want to write the equation for formation of water, you still repeat the same thing, H2O plus O2 to give you 2H2O. So you invariably see that the heat of formation of water is the same thing as heat of combustion of water. It's just to tempt you. So if the heat of formation of water is what if the heat of combustion of hydrogen, because burning hydrogen means reacting it with oxygen, but forming water, formation of water means, that's why it is even called hydrogen. Hydrogen means water former. It burns in oxygen to form water. So it's the same thing. You don't need to solve this. Whatever heat for hydro, this is not the case for other elements. I'm not trying to tell you that heat of formation and heat of combustion is the same thing. No, 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 no. But as far as formation of water is concerned, for you to form water, you need to combine hydrogen and oxygen. Then, heat of combustion of hydrogen is the heat required to burn completely 1 mole of hydrogen in oxygen, which means 2 of them will require reacting hydrogen with oxygen. So if the heat of combustion of hydrogen is minus 285.83, the heat of formation of water is still minus 285, the same thing. Believing that my explanation is clear enough. And that doesn't mean that heat of formation is always the heat of what? Combustion. Remember, there can be heat of formation without oxygen. Like you can have sodium combining with chlorine to form sodium chloride. There is no oxygen there. So there won't be such thing as heat of formation is the same thing as heat of combustion. But with regard to this question, is the same thing. So I'm waiting for questions on the live chat. A farmer noticed that he recorded a low crop yield due to high acidity of the soil. Which of the following measures will ensure high crop yield in the next planting season? A. The use of acidic solutions to soften the soil. B. Addition of enough fertilizer to the soil. C. Lowering the pH of the farmland with some solutions. And then increasing the pH of the soil using suitable chemicals. I wouldn't know if anybody have typed question. I did not see any. So in this case, a farmer, this is applied chemistry, not just writing. A farmer noticed a low crop yield due to high acidity of the soil. So when the acidity was high, what must the farmer do to lower the what? Acidity. And remember, in pH, you also endeavor to watch the video here on how to calculate pH of solutions, pH of solutions without calculator, because in this exam you'll be writing that in CBT, the CBT don't have calculator in it, so you endeavor to watch the video on how to get your pH without calculator. So the question is that the problem the farmer faced was high acidity. Okay, I should come again in number 6. Okay, you retracted your message. I think maybe after you will listen to it over and over again. I did not say that thing is not number 6. Number 6 was answered and uploaded earlier than now. So the problem the farmer faced was that the soil had what? High acidity. So which means we must do what? What must we do to lower the acidity of a soil? pH ranges from 1 to 14, ranges from 0 to 14, whereby 0 to 7, 0 to 6.9 are referred to as acidic, while 7.1 to 14.0 are referred to as alkaline or basic. Actually basic, of course. So looking at this, it shows that the acidity of the soil is below 7. And it is interesting to let you know that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, then 14. So if you move this way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it is simple, but I want to point out something that if you are not careful, it might pull you down. Increase in pH means decrease in acidity, while decrease in pH means increase in acidity. A solution that has pH of 3.2 is highly acidic to compare a solution that have pH of 5, even though 5 is more than 3. So it's just like positioning in the class. In the class during our secondary school days, normal, the person that is positioned is number 1. 1 is the least number in terms of quantity, but that number 1 is the best. So that's how acidity works. So they say the farmer had low crop yield because of the high acidity. So what will happen to lower the acidity? To lower the acidity of the soil means to increase the pH, whereby you now need a base. We need to neutralize that high acidity of the soil. That is why we use lime now to lower it. So the farmer just need to increase the pH of the soil with suitable chemical such as lime. Then in the basic line, that starting from 8 to 14 are alkaline, 7.1 to 14. The higher the number, the more alkaline. A solution with pH of 8 and another solution with pH, we have solution A and B with pH of 12. Solution B is more alkaline than solution A. This is true. This is correct because 12 is more than 8, but that is not the case in acidic level, starting from 0 to 1. Ask your questions where necessary using the live chat. I am here for you. Okay. Now we go back. We have that the farmer should do what? Increase the pH of the soil using suitable chemicals, because increase in pH automatically means decrease in acidity. The higher the number, the less acidic. The lower the number, the more acidic. So strongly acidic solution will have a pH of 0 point something, of even 1. So possibly, I don't know if it can go negative. Is actually possible. So let's see the next question 17. A change in state of matter that involves the movement of gaseous state direct to solid state is called, when there is a change from gaseous state to solid. You know, this every day we modify and increase our knowledge, but you are advised actually to only answer the one that your exam body recognizes. You know, if you come to the change in states of matter, remember, change in states of matter is made effective because we are capable of changing the temperature. So changing the kinetic energy will change it. So if we have solid here, if you have liquid, and if we have gas, definitely they are asking us change in gas back to solid. But all we know is that when you change solid to gas direct, that is when we use the word sublimation. An energy change is this, that, okay? Titus, thank you. I saw your question. I'm coming to handle that immediately. I am done with this question. We still apologize for the little hangover. I know some of you have been waiting, only that you waited. Some of you that even came back tried so much well. Okay. Now, change of solid to gas is called sublimation. but they are now asking us change of gas direct to solid. This one is called deposition. Although some authority will tell you that anytime liquid state is skipped, that you should call it sublimation. It is no more true. So I just pray that the exam body governing, that's JAMB, will recognize that change of solid to gas direct is sublimation, but the change of gas direct to solid is called deposition. So deposition is the answer to question number 17, which is option A, and not resublimation. Neither is it sublimation. But if the question say change of solid direct to gas, if you skip liquid state while moving from solid, you go direct to gas, we call it sublimation, such as iodine, ammonium chloride. But when there is a change in gas from gaseous state direct to solid, we call it deposition. Okay, so I have to try and connect the gadget to the and we'll be able to answer some questions. We want to link this to the channel. Okay. This is the day 2. I'll reduce volume. Okay, this is the question I'm looking for. All right. Okay, Titus, I hope you can see your question on the screen. You said the energy change for the reaction CO plus half of oxygen. I believe you mean 1/2. Why using half to give CO2? Heat change CO equal to this, that. Heat CO2 is 1 kilojoule per mole. Okay, let's try and do justice to that question. Only that I know you are finding it difficult to use some symbols. Okay, so I don't think if your questions are actually correct, but I will handle it. What you are supposed to do here, I think I will even handle it here. Heat change is equal to heat of product minus heat of reactant. So heat of product minus heat of reactant. The heat of product is the CO2. They gave us that the heat change for CO is this, then heat change for this is this. So remember they did not regard this one. So that means the heat of the product is that of CO2, while the heat of the reactant is that of CO. Very, very simple. So from what you said here, the product is CO2, which means we have now that HP is minus, HP here is now minus 393, while HR is 110. So that's what is applicable here. So looking at this, you just do your normal careful mathematics such that our heat change will now be minus 393 minus, is that okay? Yes, minus 110.4. So whatever it gives you is the heat change, which will be on the negative side. You just sum up 393 and 110.4. We can go to the calculator department and get the final answer. Okay, no questions has come in so far. Questions are not yet in here. Okay. The question is, do we still remember the number? I think I still remember the number. The number is minus 393 minus 393 minus 393 minus let's just say 393 plus 393. 3, don't mind this calculator. 110.4. That's minus 503.4. That's the answer. Put minus. That's the answer to that question. Okay, in the absence of other questions, we will still continue with this script here. So question number 18, they say carefully study the diagram below and use it to answer question 14 and 15. You study diagram, you look at it well. You see this is N2 H2 plus N2 being bubbled to a reactor, and they put a catalyst. See the system, so the gas moves in both ways, showing it can come back here and go forward. So at the end we have NH3, and this NH3 now, there are conditions where it can still go back to nitrogen and hydrogen. If it goes back, it's recycled back. So looking at this is Haber process, because it at the end, look at the product here. We have ammonia, and there is a cooling system. That cooling system is just telling us that the reaction is naturally exothermic and we need to reduce the temperature to maximize it. So you must not wait so that it become what you saw in the textbook exactly. You see ammonia is is being produced, and Haber process is what they say. They now ask us what is illustrated in the diagram above. Solvay process. No, remember, Solvay process is the process for the industrial production of sodium trioxocarbonate 4. Sodium Na2CO3, that's for Solvay. Then Haber process is the correct answer. It is a Haber process. So it is Haber process, option B. Well, this acts as if it's actually covering everything. So option B. They say, what happens if the system responsible for pumping the coolant into the condenser stops working, but every other process continued normal for 30 minutes? What happens if the system responsible for pumping, remember most of these questions, I constructed them. The major reason is to teach you some things. So they are not just there to be a question. I intend using them to teach you things during this live stream. Remember, any question that comes on the screen automatically dumps this one. I'll handle it and then come back to this. We call this thing live chat, which means I am here to attend to that your question live and direct as you are watching. Okay, but I believe you are enjoying this one better. So if the system responsible for pumping the coolant into the condenser, you look up here, there is a coolant in and out. So if you cannot pump the coolant in and out, what happens? The temperature is increased. That is it. you are no more decreased, because it shows that decreasing temperature will favor the formation of what? Ammonia, because Haber process is an exothermic process whereby I have N2 plus what? H2 to give NH3. 2 is here and then 3 is here. The heat change in this case is negative, and what we needed is ammonia. For exothermic reactions, increase in temperature disfavors it, and when heat change is given in a reversible reaction, like as you can see here, it is for forward reaction. Remember that in a reversible reaction, we have two reactions there, forward reaction and backward reaction. This heat change that will be given to you, is it for forward or is it for backward? Take note, heat changes are only for forward reaction. So if they give you any heat change, maybe, let me just forge a figure. This is not the correct heat change actually, maybe 193 kJ. This 193 kJ is only for the combination of nitrogen, hydrogen to give ammonia. And if the heat change of forward reaction is given as negative, automatically the heat change for the backward reaction is positive. The heat change for the backward must be positive. If the forward is negative, the backward must be positive. So this implies that the question is just targeted towards checking if you know the effect of increasing and decreasing the temperature of exothermic what? Reaction. Though there was no heat change given here, but the coolant is there telling you that lowering the temperature will favor the formation of what? Ammonia. And that means that formation of ammonia should be an exothermic process. Okay? So the answer will now be option A says the catalyst will be denatured. B says there will be less yield of nitrogen gas. There will be less yield. If you increase the temperature by not pumping in the coolant, the equation will move backward, because increase in temperature will disfavor the formation of ammonia and favor the backward reaction. Favoring backward reaction means it will increase the formation of the reactants towards here. There will be more hydrogen and there will be more nitrogen if you increase this temperature. So there will be more nitrogen, there will be more hydrogen, and not that there will be less yield of nitrogen. No. There will be more yield of ammonia. There won't be more yield of ammonia because you have increased the temperature. Ammonia is formed by evolution of heat. So heating it again, you are not favoring it. Because when we say the equilibrium is shifted to left and right, some students don't even understand that shifting they are talking about. Increase in temperature here will shift the equilibrium here. Increase in temperature here. Sorry, I recall that word, please. Increase in temperature will shift this equilibrium backward because forward reaction is exothermic. Take it this way, don't heat what is hot already. So increase in temperature during Haber process shift the equilibrium backwards, meaning there will be more formation of the reactants, that is nitrogen and hydrogen. But decreasing the temperature, which is what this coolant is doing, will lead to more formation of ammonia, meaning shift the equilibrium forward. That's the meaning of shifting equilibrium forward. That is favoring forward reaction. Okay? So there won't be less yield of nitrogen gas if the coolant is not there. Coolant is not there means increase in temperature. There will be more yield of ammonia. No, because increase in temperature will not favor exothermic reactions. And I told you that heat changes are only for forward reactions. So if forward is exothermic, backward is endothermic. Like here, if the heat change is minus 193 kilojoule for formation of ammonia, the decomposition of ammonia to yield nitrogen and hydrogen will be plus, automatically plus 193. So if forward reaction is negative, backward reaction is positive. But in a reversible reaction in exam, the heat change given is only for forward reaction. Okay? There will be more yield of ammonia, wrong. There will be more yield of hydrogen gas, correct. That is option D is what will happen. Then 20 says mixture of 2.3 grams formic acid And 4.5, you can also watch my video here on equilibrium. I believe I treated it very well. It will also help you. Just an exclusive tutorial on equilibrium, chemical equilibrium. People that watched it have actually confessed that it did them well, so it will also do you well. Then number 20 say a mixture of 2.3 grams formic acid and 4.5 grams oxalic acid is treated with concentrated H2SO4. The evolved gaseous mixture is passed through KOH pellets. Weight in grams of the remaining product at STP will be. This question, I copied it from NEET, that's Indian exam, but it's interesting, of course. I didn't create this one, but other questions there, I constructed them. So this one, I was teaching one of them, and the question became interested to me. So now, what happened? They treated it with conc H2SO4. H2SO4 serves two functions, or more than two. H2SO4 can act as an acid, especially when it is dilute. H2SO4 can act as a protonating agent, that is still an acid. H2SO4 can act as a dehydrating agent, meaning agent that will remove water molecules from a given substance. So H2SO4 can stand in an equation or in a chemical reaction as an acid. It can stand as a dehydrating agent. It can also stand as an oxidizing agent. This H2SO4 can act as an acid, which is what we know it for. As an acid, it is a perfect proton donor and is a strong acid. It can also act as a dehydrating agent. That is why it is corrosive and brings about burning of organic material, because of its ability to dehydrate. So H2SO4, if they ask you, is corrosive and burns organic material because of its dehydrating ability. That's ability to remove water molecule. It can also act as a drying agent. Remember, dehydration and drying is never the same thing. Dehydration and drying is never the same thing. The camera focus is messing up. So dehydration and drying is not the same. What are the differences? Dehydration affects the chemical formula, the chemical behavior of a substance, but drying removes water that is not chemically attached. It's just like you mistakenly maybe put your, how do I put it, maybe your phone fell inside water and you remove it immediately. Just air it, it will dry. It will not change anything in that phone. It's just like you washed your hand and you air it, it will dry. But if your hand is dehydrated, if you put H2SO4 on your skin, it will remove the water and will cause burning. So dehydrating something is a chemical change, but drying is a physical change. For instance, if you bring copper 2 tetraoxosulfate 6, it is blue. Pentahydrate of it, that's the hydrated form, is blue. You recover it and it has little water in it. You can dry it, it will still remain blue, drying. It will not affect the chemical nature. But when you treat it with conc H2SO4, what happens? Automatically, it will remove this 5 water molecule attached to it, and what will remain is white, copper 2 tetraoxosulfate 6. So drying affects the chemical nature. Is a chemical change. Dehydrating affects the chemical nature. It is a chemical change, but drying is a physical change. Okay, so back to the question. H2SO4 is acting in anywhere you see it in an equation, is either acting as an acid, a dehydrating agent. It cannot be in the equation as a drying agent, no, because drying is not a chemical reaction. So we can circle this. Then it can be an oxidizing agent, this H2SO4. So oxidizing what? Agent. Just take note that it oxidizes very well when it is hot and concentrated. So H2SO4 is a powerful oxidizing agent, especially when hot and concentrated. Okay? So the oxidizing ability will be more if it is hot, but when it is dilute and cold, it will usually play a role of an acid. This dehydrating ability is also effective when concentrated and most time hot. Like C2H5OH is an ethanol. If you remove water, if you treat it with H2SO4, it must be conc. It will remove water molecule from it, that's H2SO4. And this process is called dehydration, C2H5OH. And eventually, you treat it with what? H2SO4. The H2SO4 will just remove water molecule, and what is left is C2H4. Do you get this now? This is now dehydration. It must be concentrated. It has affected the chemical, but in dilute form, it acts as an acid. So the same thing happens. They called two compounds for us, which are formic acid and oxalic acid. You watch it well. Look at the question there. This is formic acid and then oxalic acid. Our first duty here is to find the formulas for these acids. Formic acid is just the old name, not actually the IUPAC name, or rather the common name. The old name of methanoic acid. Acid. While oxalic acid is ethane dioic acid. We call it ethane dioic acid. So ethane dioic acid is oxalic acid. They have their formula. Since we have gotten their names, it means we can write their formula. Met means one carbon, therefore it is HCOOH because it's alkanoic acid. It must have COOH in it. While oxalic acid is called ethane dioic acid. Ethane di, there is dioic, there are two words, COOH. Dioic means two COOH. But when we say tricarboxylic, it is 3 CO, but dioic now gives you everything, and they said earth, there must be 2 carbon. So this is exactly oxalic acid, and here is what? Formic acid. When you treat each of them with H2SO4, remember the laboratory preparation of carbon 4 oxide and carbon 2 oxide. This is a kind of your SS1 work. That should be your 10th grade. We learned carbon and its compound, where carbon 4 oxide is prepared. You that some of you that is still live, why not give this video a thumbs up and share it on your status? I believe you are enjoying yourself because I've not seen your question come around so far. So you can help give the video a thumbs up and share it with others. Let them join in the good thing that we are doing. Remember, I am congratulating you people in future, but we need a little break to come back and then continue.
Hi, I want to tell you that you can contact SirMajesty.100 for your laboratory equipment and reagents. They are affordable and provide accurate results too. SirMajesty.100 only sells what he knows, and his patterns of delivery are sure and certain. Place your orders today. Thanks for your patronage.
Using my pipette filler, you can also place order.
Wait a minute, have you heard about SirMajesty Easy Word? Well, I'm a subscriber to at SirMajesty Easy Word on YouTube, and I'm a student at University of Camerino, Italy. SirMajesty made science so easy for me, and it took away the fear I had on chemistry and biology. Distance is not the barrier. Guys, You have to join the Easy Word today at www.easywordscience.com and on YouTube at SirMajesty Easy Word. Bye. Thank me later.
Okay, all right. Nice to know that you're still there. We go back and continue with our solving. The questions, I don't know if we can still recall. Yeah, they gave us this was 2.3 grams, if I can remember, and this was 4.5 grams. So we were told that these are the masses of the acid provided, and each of them was dehydrated using concentrated H2SO4. So we are going to write equation in each case, and after they say the mixture was passed through potassium hydroxide pellets. Passing it through potassium hydroxide means to remove automatically CO2, because out of the two gases, carbon 2 oxide and carbon 4 oxide, it is CO2 that is absorbed by an alkalis. Sodium hydroxide does that. Remember that lime water turns milky in the presence of CO2. Is because it is capable of forming the carbonate. The same thing if it is sodium hydroxide, CO2 will still react to form the sodium trioxocarbonate 4, but it won't be milky because sodium trioxocarbonate 4 is actually what? Soluble, unlike calcium trioxocarbonate 4, which is insoluble. So that's why it will not turn sodium hydroxide milky. And remember, in chemistry, anywhere sodium hydroxide fits in, potassium hydroxide can also fix there. So any reaction you are able to perform with sodium hydroxide, you can substitute it with potassium hydroxide, of course. Okay, let's move on. The two acids that were dehydrated are HC double bond O and OH. That is HCOOH for metanoic acid. Treating it with concentrated H2SO4 means that you will dehydrate it. So in this case, H2SO4 is dehydrating, removing water. So your job is to come here and just remove water molecule. So water is H2O. H2O. You are removing 2H. This is 1, this is 2, and you remove 1O. So what remains is only CO. So that means the product formed here is automatically CO alone. Do you get that now? So from the equation, we will find the molar mass of metanoic acid. Hydrogen is 1. That means 1 times 2 because with two hydrogen atoms, 2 plus 12 because 1 carbon atom is present, then plus 32 will yield, we are working with 14 plus 32. That will give us, I guess, 46 or so. So if we put here is our 6, here is our 4. So the molar mass is 46. And from the equation we wrote, 46 grams of the acid HCOOH will give us, what's the molar mass of carbon 4 oxide? Carbon 4 oxide is 28. 12 plus 16. 28 grams. Therefore, they gave us 2.3 grams of HCOOH. If you dehydrate 2.3 grams, what will you get? From the equation, dehydrating 46 grams will give us 28. So you just, as usual, 46 gave 28. 2.3 will give X. You can reason this out in the exam hall. You don't even need to go and press your calculator. Let me just give you a secret on how you can solve this question. We learned it yesterday, indirectly, division factor, multiplication factor. If you watch 46, what happened to 46 to make it 2.3? Or you can just say 46 divided by 2.3. Whatever it gives you, you divide it by, you say 28 divided by your answer. But see what we are going to do. 46, remember that half of 4, if you say 46 divided by 2, it will give you 23, which means they divided this 46 by 2 and divided by 10 again, because 23 divided by 10 is 2.3. So just divide this thing by 2. 28 divided by 2 is 14. Divide 14 by 10, 1.4. Exactly, x is equal to 1.4. Do you understand that now? That's a way to save time in the exam. So what will it be? But let's do the Church's way. You cross multiply. You have that 46x is equal to 2.3 times 28. From the calculator department, we'll get that x will now be 2.3 times 28 all over 46. You will still land in that 1.4 that I gave. So maybe we'll check our calculator. Over there we have what are those figures we are, I think the figures we are to press is 2.3 times 28, 2.3 times 28 is equal to 64.4, then divided by 46 is 1.4. It still came back to what I told you it is before. So 1.4 grams of carbon 2 oxide is produced, and then when you pass carbon 2 oxide through potassium hydroxide, it will not absorb it. It only absorbs CO2 and not carbon 2. So we have an outstanding mass of 1.4 grams CO. We now go to the second case. The second case is when it was treated with when methanoic acid was treated with conc H2SO4. I wouldn't know how. Let me just go to the next page. The next thing is COOH, which is oxalic acid, was also treated with a concentrated H2SO4. It will eliminate water molecule. Follow the same pattern of what I did initially. Your job is just to remove this. Are you seeing? If you remove this, you have removed water. Or if you like, you remove in this way. That's H2O. If you remove this particular thing, are you seeing that what remains is COO? COO means CO2 now, and then CO, which also means carbon 2 oxide. So what will it be? We will have CO2 plus CO. This is it. Two gases are now formed, but one will be removed. This CO2 is automatically removed by that pellets of potassium hydroxide. So we'll be dealing with this only. Therefore, we find the molar mass of this compound, which is carbon is 12. We just need to find this one and multiply by 2. Carbon is 12 plus 16 times 2 is 32, because oxygen is 2. The molar mass of oxygen is 16, which will be given to you in the hall, then plus 1. So at the end, we have 32 plus 13, which will give you 5 and 4. So 45 times 2, because this is also 45. So 45 plus 45. So the molar mass is what? 45 times 2 is 90. Am I correct? Am I correct here? Yeah, 90. So 90 grams of oxalic acid gave us just CO. Is because the gas remaining is what they are asking for. When it was passed through potassium hydroxide, this is gone. So we will assume this is no more. From the equation, 90 grams of oxalic acid will still give us 28 grams of CO2. 90 grams will give what? 28, because 28 is the molar mass of CO2. Now, what next? What you are required to do now is to go to the mass given, they gave us 4.5, if I'm correct, will give us what? X. I'm waiting for your questions. I'm not seeing any. Okay, 4.5 will give you X. You still use that discretion. Do you know that 90 divided by 2 is 45? 45 divided by 10 is 4.5. The same thing will be done here. So you follow the same pattern, which will still land us in 1.4 grams. After everything, it is still 1.4. So we will get 1.4 grams of CO from oxalic acid and another 1.4 from methanoic acid. So the total mass remaining is 1.4 plus 1.4, which is 2.8 grams. So the answer to that question is the option that have 2.8 grams. Maybe we'll try going back to check the correct thing. Fortunately, those questions are not on this album. I guess it's here. I will see it. That's question 20, which is A is the answer. So we move on to question 21. Alkenes can be manufactured by, alkenes are manufactured commonly by option A, cracking of hydrocarbons. So remember that cracking is actually the breaking of high molecular weight hydrocarbon to lower molecular weight hydrocarbon by the application of heat. When you apply heat to break down, you call it cracking. Okay, so at least when I take this 21 question, we move to biology because we have tried for chemistry. Alkenes can be manufactured by cracking of hydrocarbon, and I say that cracking is actually the what? The decomposition of a higher molecular weight hydrocarbon to lower molecular weight by the application of heat. We have thermal cracking, we have catalytic cracking. Which type of cracking? There must be heat. Only that when catalyst is used to control the temperature at which the cracking occurs, we now call it catalytic cracking. So ethene, yes, of course, ethene and some other alkenes are commonly produced during cracking. So in most of the cracking of petroleum fractions, alkenes are produced. So they are commonly prepared. They are commonly manufactured by the cracking of hydrocarbons. Now they say the first organic compound to be synthesized artificially by man is urea. So urea is that's option C. That's the first organic compound to be synthesized by man. You can watch my video here on organic chemistry, a basic foundation for all learners in chemistry. So at this point, since I didn't see your question, after this short break, we will continue with biology. Make sure to prepare yourself. We just take highest 1 minute break here, and we see the adverts and some other things. Remember, SirMajesty's World Science channel is here. You can contact me for further learning. Many students are there enjoying. And then you can also endeavor to subscribe and follow this channel. I upload every day. I upload every week, at least 2 videos in every 2 weeks is possible for you, and they are all educative. You can now contact us at +2347065166217. You can WhatsApp or call me on this. Then I equip the laboratory. I have a majestic table I prepared by myself, periodic table that will aid and enhance learning for stickers in school, even for your reading decks, even at home. You can get it and keep it to help you a lot. It is highly informative. So I cannot mention all those things. Let's see it from the short advert clips as we come back for biology to continue. Remember, I really appreciate you for tuning in, and remember not to fight with any question. Don't quarrel with anybody. Don't argue with anybody. Whoever that is claiming rights, support the person on that day. You don't need to prove to anybody that you are the king. Go inside that exam, focus well, and avoid oversight. Oversight meaning, hey, I thought it was this. Don't do that at all. And there is also videos available here on human anatomy, as you can see here. particular thing clear. So even after your O level, after your JAMB, SirMajesty's World Science channel is still good for you. We have anatomy, video, biochemistry, any course that relates with chemistry and biology, you contact me. I'll help you so much. I've been helping others currently as I'm talking to you, and they are coming out graduating with higher grades. It's a thing of joy. You see the spine? So this is how the four limbs of rabbit appear with the muscles holding them. When we go further, I'll give you the names of the muscles and the attachments, but you better watch my video here on human anatomy where I used human scapula, clean one and live human scapula to teach you very well, and you will understand the different borders and other features of the human scapula. The superior border, the medial border, the lateral border, and other features. Just try and watch them here. Remember, SirMajesty's World Science channel here handles you in anatomy. So this is actually the complete skeleton of a rabbit.
Much love, remain majestic. This is me, the trees. Do you know the best channel for learning sciences and score very high in your exam? Yes, of course. That is the Majesty is a Broad Science channel. Find us on YouTube and at www.istheworldsciencechannel.com.
To enhance the easy learning and teaching of chemistry in schools, in universities, secondary schools, in research institutes. So this majestic periodic table, the Mendel in special demand, as you can see that space there highlighted, that is where you can include the name of your school, or if you are dedicating it to anybody, you can write there, because you can print it to any size you like. In a majestic size, the resolution will never be affected. So it took me about 3 months to design and provide these informations, but thank God the table is here. What made me to design this is that I discovered that these tables I see in the internet, the one I see in the market, they are not as informative as I want. And then some of them are not updated. Some still retain the fact that we have, there are like, some still see promentum has not been radioactive. Some might see them as artificial elements, but it is still is a naturally occurring element, of course. So there are some modifications that this table has been made to include, and that makes it majestic.
Wait a minute. Have you heard about the majestic table? It was designed and recommended by Her Majesty himself. Yes. The amazing thing about the majestic periodic table is that it provides a clear and colorful classification of elements from key block metals to metalloids to liquid metals. It also shows the boiling and melting points of all the elements. It also has the unique feeling of electrons in the shells of each element.
Between 50 kg of feather and 50 kg of cement, which one do you think is heavier?
Uncle, that is very simple. The 50 kg of cement.
Is heavier than 50 kg of feather?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because cement is cement and feather is feather. Uncle, I've carried cement before. Obviously, it is heavier.
Okay, it's heavier even when they are 50-50?
Uncle, cement is cement. I don't need to tell you this question are only for idiots, and I'm not an idiot.
What if the answer says you are?
Then Uncle, I'm right and you're wrong.
So I'm the idiot here.
Ah.
Your teacher.
Okay, you think I'm an imbecile. But asking these stupid questions is actually hurting my dignity. This is Her Majesty's word. I've made you laugh now, let's make you learn. Remember the question said 50 kg of feather and 50 kg of cement. 50 cannot be greater than 50. And this is also true because they're in the same unit of measurement. When you're carrying 50 kg of cement, it is the same thing as carrying 50 kg of feathers. They both have the same weight. Thank you for watching. Remain majesty.
Okay, all right. You're welcome back again to the live stream. We are moving direct to biology, and then just know that we have a lot of packages for you. There are many possible things you can do if you follow this channel. You see, you can generate your own electricity from simple chemical reaction, as you can see over here, using Daniel cells. I was able to generate electricity. You follow me up. There are other science projects I handle for schools, for individuals, for your institution. This will trick your student that over here there is no more battery. I'm just using these cells here to power this. Ordinary chemicals combining to generate electricity. Chemistry is real, and you have many things to enjoy when you follow this channel, not just for your exams. And these have also shown you have videos on anatomy that will help you even in biochemistry. So you're welcome back as we come to that biology aspect. So I wait for your questions in biology. If you don't have any, we'll look for 1 year and start answering as you bring your own questions. But if you don't have any questions, but if you have a question or questions, it will be better to make it more lively. Find areas where you're finding difficult and communicate. We will just last in the next 30 minutes if you cooperate well. As we wait, we have to go back to the album that was actually prepared for this live stream. So over here, I have some questions. I think it's 2009. We handle few questions there, but I know you already have this. So the joy of this live stream is when you bring your own question. But if you don't have any, I'll handle a few of these questions and explain them in details for you. They say, what is the level of organization of an onion bulb? You can also go through my videos here where we have majestic questions, majestic guide questions, or JAMB majestic guide. They are challenging questions that will expose your weakness. The one even in they are present in biology and also chemistry. When you test depth of the biology, you will check your ability. So remember, the aim is to make you score 90 and above. So check them out. What is the level of organization of an onion bulb? It becomes easy when you tell students to give examples of tissues, organs in animal. But when it comes to plants, it becomes a very big problem and challenging. So onion bulb is a storage organ, is an underground, an onion is a bulb, of course, in the classification, which is used in vegetative propagation. So it stores food, just like storms store food. They are storage organ like tubers. So an onion is an organ. It is existing at the organ level. Reason: if you bring an onion, you are peeling it. If you break onion like a leaf of it inside out, like you peel it, you see a leathery transparent something, that is tissue. You are holding the tissue. That is what you can now insert in the microscope to see the plant cells. A normal thing that is used to demonstrate plant cells is actually the onion bulb over here. So when you break onion from inside out, that leathery transparent something is a tissue, of which if you now put it under microscope, you notice these chambers, and these are plant cells. Are you seeing it now? So combination of tissues makes up an organ. So, and combination of these are cells. Each of these is cell. You see that the nucleus is not clear because it did not use modified microscope. Sometimes we are seeing dots, black dots inside each cell, but each cell is separated by what? a wall, like the cells of a honeycomb. So each chamber here is a cell. Therefore, since onion bulb is composed of many tissues, it is a typical what? Organ. So an onion bulb exists in the organ level. Okay. Okay, this is chemistry. Where is that question we handled? I think here is that. So option B is correct. If your own have an opposing answer, it is not true. Onion bulb is an organ. So a characteristic exhibited by all organisms is all organisms. We are looking at something that is not for either plants or for animals only. A, sexual reproduction. B, aerobic respiration. Sexual reproduction, not every living thing reproduces sexually. So sexual reproduction cannot be for all organisms. Okay? Aerobic respiration, of course, is not for all organisms. Respiration is for all living organisms, but aerobic respiration is not for all living organisms. Reason is because we have the obligate anaerobes, we have the facultative. So there are organisms that cannot respire aerobically. Remember, aerobic respiration is actually the type of respiration that occurs in sufficient oxygen. Although we say that occurs in the presence of oxygen, no. It doesn't mean that a vacuum will be created. There must be air around. The only thing that there will be less air. So it is the type of respiration that occurs when there is enough oxygen. But when there is insufficient oxygen, not actually totally absent of oxygen, no, as you were taught. So aerobic respiration is not for every living thing. Then it is only for the aerobes. Now, the ability to move from one place to another, unfortunately, plants don't move from one place. Plants have movement, but moving from one place to another is called locomotion. So plants are not locomotive. So that's option C is not true. D, the ability to remove unwanted substance. Of course, every living thing must find a way to remove unwanted substances from their body. Remember, if you have any question for my explanation, or if you are not in support of anything I say here, science is an open field. I welcome your criticism. Constructive criticism is one of the driving force to improvement, constructive ones. So number, I don't know the number here, the photograph is not sure, but the next number is just in a cell, the genes are carried by, what carries the gene in a cell? Remember, in the level of organization, we have cell tissues. Then, if you come inside that cell, there are these genes. And where are these genes located? The genes are located automatically in the chromosomes, which are found in the nucleus. So they say, A, nuclear membrane. No, the genes are never on the nuclear membrane. B says chromatin threads. Chromatin threads is what will form the chromosomes, and that is automatically the correct answer. So the chromatin threads happen to be the location. Maybe I can be marking these ones as I answer them. The first one I said is an organ, even though there might be authority that will tell you that is a tissue, is not true. Onion is an organ, not a tissue. It's a storage organ. Okay, number 2, we said that the answer is D. Then the number 3 is the so-called chromatin threads. So nuclear membrane do not carry genes. Rather, they are responsible for the individuality of a cell, separating one cell from another cell, and it is selective membrane. It delimits the content of the cytoplasm, meaning that it controls what enters and leaves, or what remains in the cytoplasm. That is the work of the so-called okay, that is the work of cell membrane. But the nuclear membrane, please, nuclear membrane is the one that encloses the nuclear material, that covers the nucleus. Nuclear membrane or nuclear envelope, the one I was explaining before, is cell membrane. Sorry for that mix up. Then C, lysosome. At this point, you should learn science language. Anything lies is breaking down. come on, let me remind you. We have electrolysis, pyrolysis, hemolysis. You see, I am all ending in lysis. So when you have lysis, it means breaking down, destruction, decomposition. So lysosomes are actually the cell organelles where engulfed bacteria are broken down. So if you are entering into this exam in biology, you need science language to succeed well. You watch my video where I tried my possible best to give these languages because there are many. How I wish you are throwing your question on the live chat, I would be able to give you those things as I am explaining. Like now, it wasn't my intention to tell you that lysis is breaking down until I see it in the option. So why do understanding science language, why is it important? It is very important because it will help you answer strange questions. Question you have never met in your life. Now, SirMajesty have told you that lysis stands for breaking down. If I tell you now what is pyrolysis, what is pyrolysis? You have never had it in your life. You look for options that have breaking down, destruction, decomposition. Am I communicating? Pyrolysis is just the decomposition of a compound by subjecting it to high temperature. Pyrolysis. Are you seeing it now? So anything lysis means breaking down. So lysosome, if they say lytic enzyme, enzymes that brings about destruction or breakdown. So lysosomes are actually the cell organelles where worn out tissues are actually absorbed or destroyed, and then engulfed bacteria are destroyed. Have you noticed that white blood cells fight against diseases? How do they fight against diseases? There are 3 or 4 mechanisms that they use. One of them is that they engulf the bacteria. That is what we call phagocytosis. As they engulf it, haven't you asked yourself, why will white blood cell take something that is poisonous to other cells and will remain alive, although some of them dies during the process, and that will lead to formation of pores if it is an open wound. So there are dead cells also in the pores that comes out from an open wound. So the white blood cells don't give 100% free fight. Some of them become collateral damage. But what I'm trying to say here is that the white blood cells contains lysosomes, which breaks down that thing they absorb. So after phagocytosis, the engulfed bacteria is destroyed entirely by the lysosome because it has lytic what? Enzyme. Okay? So that's it. And another way the white blood cell fights is now by the use of antibodies, or what we call biologically immunoglobulins. So antibodies are called immunoglobulins. Remember, if I'm too fast, it means you have to re-listen and watch again. So the next question says alternation of sexual modes of reproduction is found in, okay, alternation of sexual mode of reproduction is found in alternation of asexual mode of reproduction is found in, that's organisms that show alternation of generation. And organisms that show alternation of generation, we have the bryophytes and then the pteridophytes. They are the ones that have pronounced alternation of generation. Not that they are the only organism that show it, but pronounced alternation of generation is found among ferns and the so-called bryophytes. Alternation of generation means where an organism alternates between 2 forms of reproduction, alternates sexual life cycle with asexual, meaning that if A produces B by sexual reproduction, when B is now mature and want to produce, it will produce C by asexual. Then C will go back and reproduce by sexual. Alternates after sexual, sexual, after asexual, sexual. So it is one after the other. It is pronounced, I said, in bryophytes and what? Pteridophytes, whereby they alternate between the gametophyte generation and the sporophyte generation. The generations that are alternated are actually the what? Gametophyte generation and sporophyte. Sporophyte generation. Science language, phyte means plant. Anything phy, because the Greek word for plant is phyton. So gamete, that's the one that reproduce sexually, because gamete is a sex cell. So when you hear gametophyte generation, it means the sexual life what cycle. That's the gametophyte. While the sporophyte is the one that produces asexually from the formation of spores. The word sporophyte is connected to spores. You get that now? So in ferns, you have ferns are actually epiphytes. Most of them are epiphytes. They are commonly found on the trunk of palm tree. I don't know, when we say ferns, if you are being the type close to rural area, maybe if this is palm frond, this is the trunk. There are little thing that looks like palm fronds, but they are leaves. So they pick this form just like small leaves. They look like grass. So this is what we call fern plant. It's part of the fern plant. In some riverine areas such as maybe Niger Delta, you can find these plants growing on the aquatic soil. That's, I mean, on the water, the areas around water body. But over here, we can only see it on the trunk of palm tree. So ferns and bryophytes, such as moss plants, they live at what? Alternate between two life cycles, which is gametophyte generation and sporophyte generation. The gametophytes will reproduce by producing gametes, and the gametes will fuse together to form zygote, which now matures to reproduce by the formation of spores. So it is very much pronounced according to the option there in where is the question? It is found in ferns. That is option C. Fern plants such as Dryopteris. Okay. And then the first terrestrial vertebrate to evolve. The first terrestrial vertebrate evolved from. The first terrestrial vertebrate evolved from. Okay. This is a kind of tempting question. Vertebrates are animals with backbone, and they gave us all the possible classes of vertebrates. We have at least a common 5 classes of vertebrate. Not that we actually have only 5 classes of vertebrate, but for O level, we will take it that way. But in real sense, there are more than 5 classes of vertebrate. We have the agnatans, which are not regarded. So vertebrates are actually the chordates with a backbone, chordata that their spinal cord is covered with what? Backbone. Now, I want to teach you how to memorize the correct evolutionary order of the 5 classes of vertebrates. P is for Pisces, that's the fishes. We are looking at the common classes of vertebrates. So P, Pisces. A is for amphibians. So Pisces evolved first, followed by amphibians. So what is the most primitive vertebrate? You say Pisces. Primitive, the earliest, because you cannot separate classification from evolution. Then after that, reptiles. After reptiles, A here is for aves, which means birds, and M here is for mammals. So in this situation, this is their correct evolutionary trend. The evolutionary trend, meaning the correct order of evolution. So what's the last vertebrate to evolve? Mammal. Or what's the most advanced vertebrate? Mammals. Do you know why? If you check, the fish is the only vertebrate with 2 chambered hearts. If you look at their heart chambers, it is progressing from 2 to partially divided 3 chambers. Then reptiles will have completely divided 3. Then apes and mammals have 4 chambers. So if you are moving from 2 to 4, you are progressing. It is a gradual process. Do you understand? And then aquatic life. Remember, life started in water and eventually came on land. That's what they are asking us. 1, 2 are almost aquatic. The one that is entirely aquatic is Pisces. So Pisces live in water completely. They don't have terrestrial features at all. Terrestrial meaning living on land. But amphibians are still aquatic, but they have 2 lives, and that is the another science language. Anything amphi, the word amphi is just having what? Two features. That's why amphoteric oxides in chemistry, amphoteric oxides, if it is chemistry, we say they are oxides that have both basic and acidic properties. You see now, they are both behaving as acid and at the same time behaving as a base. Then amphibian means dual life, the vertebrate that can have life on land and water. So amphibians are the first vertebrate to venture on land. So we can literally see them as the first animal that came on land. Fish never try coming on land. So after that, reptiles are the only group of animals that exhibited complete terrestrial life. Apes and mammals are terrestrial, even though we might have reptiles and mammals that still live in water. Is it not true? Yes. Like whale is a mammal. It is still aquatic. So we have aquatic mammals. We have aquatic birds like the penguins. We also see that some of the reptiles are aquatic. Does it mean that they are not seen as terrestrial? No. They are aquatic, but do you know one unique thing about them? They reproduce on land. So all these reptile, apes, mammals, if they live in water, for them to reproduce, they come on land, come at the shore, and now reproduce. And because of that, we call this 1, 2, 3 the amniotes. Amniotes meaning their egg have yolky, enough fluid, amniotes, if I'm correct. While these two, the so-called amphibians and Pisces, are anamniotes. Anamniotes, meaning they don't have large yolky egg. That is why their egg must remain in water. If the egg of Pisces and amphibian comes out on land, it dries up automatically. So I believe from this little explanation, you can answer that question. The first vertebrate evolved from my explanation, the Pisces are the only complete aquatic, and therefore the first animal to dream or to come on land is amphibia. Therefore, Pisces gave rise to amphibia. Let's take it that way. Amphibia to reptile. So it is the correct order. Therefore, the answer should be Pisces. So Pisces are actually the ancestors of amphibians. So the first vertebrate to venture on land evolved from the first vertebrate to venture on land are the amphibians, so but they went back in water and reproduced. They can only reproduce in water. Why? Because their egg is not large and yolky. Their egg cannot survive outside water. It will dry up. They must put it in water. So even when you see frog, toad on land, they will still go back in water during reproduction. But the question says, if I can remember, maybe let me. It says the first terrestrial vertebrate evolved from. So the first vertebrate to venture on land is amphibian. The first vertebrate to have complete terrestrial life are the reptiles. Take note. If they say the first vertebrate to venture on land, amphibian. But where did the amphibian evolve from? They evolved from Pisces. So the correct answer should be A. So the next question is, unless I forget from what I just drew here, if you want to remember this acronym, the evolutionary trend for vertebrates, you can use this statement, param. Did I hear you say param? Param, the correct evolutionary order: Pisces, amphibians, reptiles, apes, and mammal. because they will ask you this question in exam and you dare not fail it because I'm here for you. Thank you all who are still on tuning in. You keep watching. It's like you're enjoying this so much that you could even ask any question. Oh my God. Some of you that have been following my channel, I really, really appreciate you guys. I cannot do without you. I am begging you to expand this science community. Please endeavor to subscribe for further video. This is the last free live stream for the JAMB students. When WAEC approaches, I might do the same. This is a yearly offer I give to you. When you get this admission, don't forget to share your testimony alongside that Sir Majesty is here doing all he can to ensure that you succeeded. So I am optimistic that you are not going to miss admission this year. Even if you have written many times, don't bother yourself. The good Lord will help you succeed very, very well. And most importantly, please share my videos. Don't just be only coming for exams. I have more than what exam can offer. The real science. Why is science getting you off or you are finding it difficult? Because you are just doing the theoretical aspect. When you are involved in the practical aspect of science, you will love it the more. Sir Majesty's World Science Channel is here for you. Thank you so far. I think we are going to come to the end of the live stream. And then happy matriculations to you all. Don't forget to share your testimonies and also contact me for further learning. Plus 234 7065 166217. Anything, most of the videos that you need are already available. I have up to 200 and something videos for now, and more will be uploaded, even DIYs. So your job is to search for any video of your choice, watch them. It will help you very, very well. Remember to ask questions in the comment box, not when you watch a video you come to my know. There are many of you that are chatting me. There is no way I will attend to everybody. But if it is right here at Sir Majesty's World Science Channel, I will attend to your questions. So far, so good. What is the trend, the normal evolutionary trend? We say param, Pisces, amphibian, reptile, apes, and mammal. So the most advanced vertebrate should be mammal. The most primitive should be Pisces. Okay, and I've told you about amniotes and anamniotes. Okay, I'll be trying my possible best to help you out with your questions anytime, any day. Although I think this one in plants, the structures that play the role similar to the arteries and veins. Maybe I'll give you one extra question. Arteries and veins do the work of transportation, conduction. So what are the conducting tissues? They are called vascular tissues in plants, which are xylem and phloem. So option A had the best and the most suitable correct answer. Honestly, I wouldn't like to stop the live stream, but I have to. I think the more I want to stop, I'm falling in love with the next question. A blue-green algae is not a protophyte, because proto is actually is plants, a kind of, is a group of plants that are more advanced. Remember blue-green algae. Oh my God, I'm interested in this question. Blue-green algae is not a protophyte because it is aquatic, its cells are prokaryotic, it cannot move, it is not a green plant. Because of the fact that the cells are prokaryotic, yeah. So because protophytes should be eukaryotic, not because they don't move, not because they are not green plants. We say blue-green algae. They have their own chlorophyll. A good example of blue-green algae should be the Anabena and nostoc. Their chlorophyll is lying freely in the cytoplasm. So the answer to this question, I guess, should be, and then they drew the scholars, but sorry, the scholars is just the head of these worms. We have the flatworms and many other things. So much love from me to you guys. Bye for now.
Much love. Remain majestic. This is me, the trees. Do you know the best channel for learning sciences and scoring very high in your exam? Yes, of course. That is SirMajesty is a broad science channel. Find us on YouTube and at www.istheworldsciencechannel.com.